Hey everyone! I'd like to show you today how to use the ruler in Microsoft Word. This is such a useful tool and I hope you find it as helpful as I have. So first thing we need to do is make sure the ruler is showing. I can see it's at the top of the page here. If my ruler were not showing, what I would do would be go over to the View tab and then click on this checkbox here, and you can toggle that on and off so you can see how the ruler appears and disappears as I check and uncheck that box. So let's go back to our Home tab and we'll start working with some text. So you do have to highlight the text that you want to manipulate in most cases. So I'm going to highlight a paragraph by triple clicking that paragraph. That's the fast way to do it. And then I'm going to go up to my ruler. Now there are really three parts to the ruler to manipulate text. The first is the top triangle, which is your first line indent. Second is the bottom triangle, which indents the runovers, everything below the first line. And then the third is this little square here, which controls them both at the same time. So if I wanted to indent this whole paragraph, all I would do is just click here and then move it like that. And I can move it back. So to indent the first line, I would just click my top triangle and move it. So I'm just clicking and holding and dragging. Click, hold, drag, release. And it kind of pops into place at these little tick marks, so you don't have to be super precise about where you let go of that mouse button. So if I want to move just the text below that first line, which is useful in some cases, I'm going to click on this bottom arrow and move it to where I want it, and then move the top line back. And then click, hold, and drop, just like that. And I've got just the first line that's over flush left with the margin, and then I've got the rest of it indented here. Okay, so now let's move on and look at how this works with bullets. So I'm going to triple click my second bullet here to highlight that bulleted paragraph, and let's say I don't want this to be at the same level. I want to use a sub bullet. So I'd go up to my ruler and I would just click this left indent, which even though those two triangles are no longer lined up, it's still going to control, this little square is still going to control both of my arrows. They're going to move together. So if I click on that little square and hold and drag to the right, it's going to indent my sub-bullet. And then of course you can go up here and then you can choose a different, let's say a different type of bullet. If you lose it, which you know how Word is, sometimes it has a mind of its own, you just click it and drag it back into place. So let's move that back. Okay, so we'll triple click and go up here, grab your bottom square and move it back to where the other bullet is, and of course you can change your bullet back to the same type that you had before. Other things you can do with the ruler are, if you go up here and you hover over this space between the white and the gray, and you hover and you get this double-headed arrow, and then you can click and drag, and that changes the margins for your entire page. So if I needed to fit, let's say, a resume onto just one page or 2 pages, I could increase my margins a little bit to help me squeeze that extra line back onto the page that it needs to be on instead of running over onto an extra page. Or I can go over here and this is showing a right tab right now. If I click it again, I'm going to get a center tab, which is represented by that upside down T, and click one more time. Don't know what that, oh, that's a bar tab, which I don't know how to use. And then I have a left tab here. So being able to set left tabs, you just double click on your ruler where you want the tab to be, and then that brings up this tab dialog box, and that's a really handy thing to to do it that way instead of having to go through the menus. It's much faster to use the ruler to set your tabs. And if you don't want one, let's say I decide I don't want this left tab, I click on it, hold it, and just drag it off the ruler, and it's gone. So that's the ruler, and I hope you find it as useful as I have, and it's a great little tool to have in your back pocket.